Here we are. I've got a blank page in Bubble, and we're going to use a couple things, okay? So these would be useful things. This is the OpenSea NFT API documentation at docs.opensea.io. I'll put this in the description of this video once the live stream's over. So this is going to be where you're gonna want to reference this documentation to to start using the OpenSea API, obviously. Now, there's two different ways to integrate the API in Bubble, okay? Let's go back here. In the plugins section of your app, you can install the OpenSea API plugin from EasyCode. Shout out to EasyCode. I hope one day they see one of these videos because I love what they're doing over at EasyCode. They're building so many awesome plugins for Web3 and blockchain on Bubble, and it is so awesome to have all these powers available to the no-code community. It just is helping speed up adoption of all these things and get developers and designers and just tech-curious people into the space. Anyway, shout out to EasyCode. They've got an OpenSea API plugin, and you could use this plugin, and it would be pretty easy to achieve what we're going to do today. But instead, I'm going to show you, because I'm thrifty and cheap, I'm going to show you how to use the default Bubble API connector plugin. You are going to have to add this to your app, so you're going to have to go to add plugins. And if you've watched my previous live streams, you will know the debacle that this button causes for me. I think it would be better now that I have my new live streaming setup and I'm not using the software encoding. I think that this would not crash everything. But I'm not going to do it again today. I will do that. I will test that on a different stream when I'm feeling a little, maybe on a Monday we'll test that. But you just click add plugins, search for API. I think it's one of the first ones it shows actually even, and install the API connector. Now you can see I've been connecting to a couple different APIs. This app is the app where I have a lot of different test applications that I'm testing out, building things ahead of time that I'm then going to show you guys. So I've got a lot of stuff I'm working on, but the OpenSea API, you can see here, we've added this OpenSea API. Here's our API key. Oh, I shouldn't really show that to you. Great. I'm going to have to probably edit that in post. So you are going to have to get an API key from OpenSea, okay? And it's not necessarily the easiest process right now. You got to go to OpenSea. You got to apply for the API. And then once you have a key, you can start to do these calls. Now, I think you can do some of the calls without an API key. Let's see. Is this one of them? That's the question. Right. So this API endpoint requires an API key in order to use. So you will have to get an API key to do what we're doing today. So that is the one caveat. So you put in your API key right here as a shared header so that every single call gets this API key. Then here's the call we're going to do. We're going to do a get, and we're going to do this assets. We're going to retrieve the assets. Okay. And this is the documentation for this call here. And, and it's pretty basic, pretty straightforward. There's a bunch of different parameters that you can do. The one we're going to do is we're going to do owner, because we're going to want to find all the NFTs, the assets. We're going to want to show those assets, the images for those assets, that are all the assets that the wallet that I have that is connected to our app. I want to show all the NFT assets. So that's where my wallet is, my wallet address is going to go. And let's actually just show live real quick. Again, my Metamask extension, it takes some time to load still. It's not exactly speedy on Chrome for some reason. It works way better in Brave. So I click try it. Oh, I got to put in my API. So I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to show you guys my full API key. I'm going to just show you guys how to build this app. You know, there's always unforeseen things in this process. So in your API connector here, you're going to want to put your API key as a shared header. This is our call URL that we put right there. Here's our parameters, right? And you can put whatever parameters here you want, however you want to call up your NFTs, okay? I'm doing ascending order, offset 0. If you were doing pages, you could use offset. So let's say you want to show the first 20 NFTs in the wallet. And then when you click the next button for the page, it shows the next 20. You would use offset in that case. We're going to just have 0 as our offset because we want to just start at the beginning of all the NFTs in the owner's wallet. This is the owner address. And here you can do asset contract address if you want the whole collection's NFTs. So let's go back here. This is the contract address for a whole essentially collection of NFTs. So you can call up a whole collection using this. You can also use the collection parameter and put in the URL of the collection, the slug of the collection on OpenSea, and you can get all the NFTs for that collection using this same call. Now for this example, I'm going to use the owner's wallet, the wallet of the user that's connected to our app, like I already said. But let me see. So we've set up these parameters, and you're going to see where I fill in these empty parameters here. The first time you do this, you're going to have to initialize the call. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. Okay, I put my API key back in there. I had to put my API key back in order to initialize this call. I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to do that. So now I clicked on my MetaMask extension, and I'm going to get my wallet address, and we're going to put that in here. And now we're going to initialize this call. And this is going to show us our JSON output once we initialize it. So here is all the JSON from the request, okay? And this is telling us a bunch of information about the assets in my wallet. And you can see it's creating, these are what kind of data types do we want each of these to be, these JSON data lines, which each of these entries, JSON entries, how do we want our app to process these? So you can see as text or as a number, and this is going to be the name of these assets that we're going to refer to in our app. Okay, so you don't really have to change anything here most of the time. You can go through, make sure all these are lined up right. But for now, we're just going to save this, and then I'll show you what we're going to do is for each asset, we're going to pull in the image URL, and we'll also pull in the name and maybe the description, we'll see. And maybe we'll pull in the external link. And so we're going to make a gallery with the image URLs, and then we're going to pull in the name of them. So you can see how that worked. Now I'm going to delete this again because I want this to be blank in our settings. It's not a huge deal if you leave that in there, but just one less thing to do later on. So we've got our blank canvas page under the design tab here. And we're going to make, this is going to be a pretty basic app because I'm going to allow you guys to design and put this into whatever kind of context you want. But we're going to start with a repeating group, okay? And oh, before that, let's just delete this so that we start here. We're going to go up here and you see this little blue icon next to the word responsive. I want to upgrade, so click on that, and I want to upgrade this to the responsive beta engine. And this is going to unlock, if you saw yesterday's video, this is going to unlock the new responsive beta responsive engine on Bubble, and I think it's way better than the old design engine. So it's well worth doing this little upgrade here, and it took almost no time. See, mic mute pedal, really cool. Then I can mute out all those little sounds of me drinking, and you don't have to. This doesn't become an ASMR video accidentally. So we're gonna now we're gonna add. Well, first let's go into our page. Let's say, yeah, we're gonna give it a cool name, NFT Gallery. And under layout, we want this to be, let's just say, a column. I like making my pages generally columns. And the minimum height, I don't really care. I'll just say 200 right now because it's going to adapt to what we put in there. So I'm going to now put a repeating group in here. And the cells, since the cells are going to be images with a title, I think we're going to stick to column for right now in the cells. We're going to go over to appearance and type of content. We're going to get to that in a second, okay? Let's not set the number of rows, and let's not set a fixed number of columns. But let's do a minimum width, okay? So we're going to do a minimum width of 200 pixels for the height and the column for right now, okay? And we're going to go to layout. We're going to horizontally align. We're going to uncheck the fixed width. The smallest width I want that to be is 300. The max, you could let this thing expand all across the page if you want to just leave this empty. For this example, I'm going to say 1200. Fixed height is not going to be fixed, but the minimum height will be 200. And we're just going to fit height to the content. We're going to call this floating group gallery, or repeating group. Not floating, repeating. And the type of content. So do you remember what our API call was called? It was retrieve assets asset. So that's what the type of content is going to be, okay? And the data source is going to be from an external API, okay? We're now going to our APIs that we've set up. And you can see I've set up a bunch, but we're going to do the OpenSea Retrieve Assets API call. And here you can see, here's our parameters. Let's go back to the plugin. I just want to emphasize this. Where those are coming from are the parameters that you've put in here, okay? You can see I can delete these. I can add these. You can see you can add a parameter. So it's really easy to add more parameters, delete more parameters, and those show up when you then come over here to do an actual call. And here's where the magic is going to happen, okay? So the other plugin we need is the Web3 and Metamask plugin. So you got to have this plugin so that this plugin is going to connect to your MetaMask extension, your user's MetaMask extension, and it's going to get their wallet address so that it can pull in their NFTs. So when you add that plugin, you install that Web3 and Metamask plugin, it's going to give you this little element here in your design tab called Web3 and Metamask. We have to put that little element on the page. It has to be present on the page. And you'll see here it is. Where is it? Let's go look. Oh, it's tiny. It's tiny, and it looks like it put it above my my repeating group there. I'm gonna make it a little bigger so that it's not so impossible to just click on while I'm working on it. Whoa, it doesn't need to be that big. Let's just do 50 by 50, and I'm gonna make it last on this page. You could make it a little smaller, maybe even. Let's just do 10 by 10. Okay, that's good. That's good. I can still get to it. So now that that's on the page, now let's go back to our repeating group. Back to that data source. Okay, so the owner wallet address. This is where we insert dynamic data. Web3 and Metamask. Wallet address. Boom. That easy. Okay. Now let's click more here. And what we're going to want. Oh, actually, no. That's our data source, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. So now within our repeating group, we got to start to make some little areas for our data. So let's start with our image. Let's just plop our image in there. I'm going to hold down the shift button to get a nice square. I want to bring that in as a square image. My NFT. We'll just call this image NFT. And I want it to be 150 by 150. You could do other things with this, right? You could do keep element aspect ratio fixed 1:1, and then you don't have to make it fixed width. You could make it fill this whole thing. And then we could just put the title over on top of it when you hover. Maybe that's what we'll do. Or you can make this a square inside at a fixed width of, let's say, 150. And then you could put the title below it. Right? There's different ways depending on how you want to design this. And are you going to put buttons? Are you going to put a buy button or an offer or bid button? Because as you'll see, I know I kind of jump all over the place sometimes. This OpenSea SDK plugin, totally different plugin than the OpenSea API. This OpenSea SDK plugin from EasyCode allows you to make offers, sell for fixed price, set expiration dates, buy items, accept offers, cancel orders, transfer items. So you could see how these different actions could be really powerful combined with your NFT gallery. So maybe you've got an app, right? And your user comes to the page. They can see all the NFTs in their wallet when they connect their wallet to your app. And they can put them up for sale. Or maybe you're showing the NFTs from a collection and you want to let your users put in a bid, okay? And I will tell you guys, I have built a project already using the OpenSea SDK, using Bubble, that allows people to put in bids at whatever they want, and even a feature in the app that allows them to automatically put in a bid price that's below the floor price. So you can think of all kinds of cool things you could do with this feature. Today we're just bringing in our assets. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this where we hook it up to the OpenSea SDK. Why not? It's dead simple with Bubble. I'm telling you guys, you learn the Bubble basics and you can, I'm telling you, pretty much build any app. Another app I'm going to build here soon for you guys, with you guys, is a wallet. We're going to build a wallet. You can build your own wallet application. Powerful stuff. So a user could even generate a wallet. You can generate a wallet in your application. You can have your application generate a wallet. Your user can transfer funds to that wallet. You can then do things with that wallet. You can sign transactions on behalf of your users. Really powerful stuff. It's so powerful that for me personally, when I think about all the possibilities with Web3 and blockchain, I'm overwhelmed. Let's get back to this app. So since I'm going simple, we're not going to put any offer or bid buttons. But you know what? If we do a part 2, we might. We just might. So, but you know what? Actually, yeah, I'll leave some space for that. Sometimes you got to think a little. Sometimes you got to think. So we're just going to say 150 for now. Okay, we're going to keep that all the same. I kind of droned on for a second there. Okay, dynamic image, right? Ready? Under appearance, we're going to go to current cells, retrieve assets, asset. That's coming from our API call. And now look, we can pull in all this stuff from the API. These are all our JSON responses. So let's do image URL. So now we're pulling in this image of that NFT asset. And I'm going to do something a little fancy here. I'm going to say that we're going to be using this as an image. And we're going to process this image with Imgix. I don't know how to say that. That's just what I'm saying. And I'm going to resize this image to fit the dimensions by cropping. You don't necessarily need to do this. It depends on how you want to display these assets. But for me personally, this is how I set up images all the time in Bubble. I always process them. I always bring them down a little bit in quality, 75% here. Just me personally. You don't have to do that. So now we're pulling in the asset from the user's wallet. We're pulling in the image here, and we should now preview our app, right? I think so. Let's see the fruits of our labors here. Let's see if our labors have fruited. So as you can see, nothing. Now this is oh nope, there it popped in. So I have a couple NFTs. Actually, maybe I only have one in this wallet is what that might be telling me. But oh, actually, you know what? See, I love doing this live for the reason that you guys get to see all my mess ups and weird stuff, right? So in the API call for this repeating group, we've got parameter limit set to 1. That means it's only going to retrieve 1 asset. So I want it to set, let's just say it's going to take the first 10. Okay. We're going to bring in the first 10. So now let's reload this. This wallet is a random wallet. It has all kinds of random stuff in it. Okay. Random NFTs. So it's a perfect wallet for this example. Look at all these. These are all cards from a collection called Dank Crypto that I was helping put together. So this development wallet for that project has all these random NFTs. But look at that. We just pulled in all the NFTs from that wallet. How cool is that? Or at least the first 10. And you can see in this wallet, there's only 9 NFTs. So we don't even have more than 10, but that's perfect for example here. So you can see we have that. Now we've got some design stuff with our repeating group that we can fix. Like, let's get rid of these separators. We don't need that. Let's reload our page. It's kind of fun, right? To see our app in its functioning state. Isn't that fun? When stuff just works, APIs just work, the data just comes in. Look at that. So we got our NFTs from this wallet. I mean, that's your basic NFT gallery functionality. Now, this could be useful in all kinds of applications. You know, we're just trying to get some basics here so that we know how to build things with basic building blocks for Web3 and blockchain applications. So we've got that. Let's bring in a text element Let's stick that text element in the center. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll center it, but I'm going to make it the same width for the sake of design as our image. I'm going to give it like a 10 pixel margin there off the top. And you know what I would prefer to do, actually? I don't like using fixed width elements because I like things to be responsive. I've become very used to responsive design. I like using percentages. I like using margins, borders, things like that, padding. So I would probably change this, and I probably will during the this tutorial or the next part where we're going to add the OpenSea SDK. I should have talked about the OpenSea SDK at the beginning of this and how we were going to add that functionality, but here we are. So this text is going to become current cell retrieve assets asset. That's our API asset call. And we want to have this be the name of our asset, right? Let's reload this page. Let's see how that's looking. So if we bring in the name of each NFT into our gallery, then you can see THCU card, Durban Poison card, Fancy Lighter card, Lemon Skunk card, Gummies card, Bud Tender card, Cherry Pie card. So you've got all the names of these different NFTs, right? These were all cannabis themed NFTs. I'm sorry, algorithm. I'm sorry. I could show you some other wallets too, but they're all kind of random because I use these wallets all for just general development. And I've developed a lot of different random projects. So you can see there, we've got the asset name now. So this is our basic NFT gallery. It's very basic, yes, but you can tell or see how we're pulling in things through this OpenSea API. And you can see how easy that is. Like, that was so easy. And I didn't even pay to install this OpenSea API app. I'm just using that built-in API plugin from Bubble. So you can see that was ridiculously easy to put that together. Now, in the next video, I'm going to show you guys and gals how to hook it up to the OpenSea SDK so that we can allow people to sell the NFTs in their wallet or buy NFTs from someone else's wallet or from a contracts wallet, a collections wallet, using the OpenSea SDK. So you're using OpenSea's infrastructure, their bidding system, to place bids or buy NFTs or sell your NFTs in your application, allowing your users to do any of those things through this application. So this is super powerful abilities here for your app. And like I said, we're gonna do that next, and then I'm gonna show you how to do a wallet, a crypto wallet, how to make your own crypto wallet app. That's coming up. And then we've got an even bigger project series that will be coming up after that. So we're planning a lot of content. We're gonna keep pushing to do these lives more and more. It's getting easier to do. We're getting down the tech, the routine, and the format, and we're trying to put out a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited. So stay tuned, and I will see you on the next